Because if you just listening, you might not be too blessed. You better pick that up and start reading. Now it says, let me jump back up where I was at. It's back in verse 4. I'm going to keep going back and forth just to, back up what this guy's saying. A lot of people see this. Let's see how many views this got. It's got 100 and some thousand views, right? So there's a lot of people that actually seen this. And there's other video that I got queued up. But only the elect gonna see this video that I'm putting out, because this ain't meant for everybody. That's why it gives a specific number. Now it says in verse 4, and I heard the number of them which was sealed, and there was sealed 144,000 of the tribes of the children of Israel. He ain't say the Christians. Let me run this back.
A Christian. They're not described as Israel, but the redeemed. So
see, this why these Edomites be monitoring shit too, because they can't pull the wool over people's eyes, so to speak. That's why men have this gift from the Most High, so you can share, actually enlighten people. Because just think about it. You got family or whatever, and you see somebody fooling or whatever. What you gonna do? You gonna sit there and let them keep fooling them, or you gonna give them what they supposed to know?
That's a comprehensive description. That's what it means to be a Christian. They're not described as Israel, but the redeemed. So,
but see, look, man, Esau a fucking devil. That's why they the fucking devil, because they be deceptive. That's real deceptive right there. He calling out the chapters too. Revelation chapter 6, Revelation chapter 7, Revelation chapter 14. But it clearly says right here, of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So, in order to be the children of Israel, you got to be from one of these tribes, from Judah all the way down to Issachar. Now I'm gonna read back in verse 9 some more too. I know I'm back and forth or whatever, but I'm just backing up what I'm saying and cutting what he's saying. In verse 9 it says, back where I was at, it says, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, salvation to our power which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. Because you still have people being anti-Hamashiach, saying, oh, you ain't got to give reverence to Yahushua. Well, who gonna get sent back then? What book of Revelation talking about? When they talk about somebody being sent back, or the book of 2nd Ezra, when somebody gets sent back? Or who was the scripture talking about when it was like, when the people was like, give us Barabbas, would take up Yahushua? Who was they talking about? When people wanted Barabbas, this guy that was a damn murderer and a thief. But Yahushua was just preaching the scriptures and telling people to tighten up and correct their ways. They wanted him put to death though. Who was that talking about? You gotta go through the mediator. He just was our mediator. So, some more. Verse 11 it says, and all the angels stood around about the throne and about the elders and the 4 beasts, and fell before the throne on their faces and worshiped Yahweh, saying, Amen, blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto our power forever and ever. Let me see. Let me go down some more real quick. Okay, yeah, verse 13 it says, and one of the elders answered, saying unto me, what are these which are arrayed in white robes? And whence came they? And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, these are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore are they before the throne of Yahweh, and serve him day and night in his temple. And he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them into the living fountains of water, and Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. And that's what's going to happen. And see, Esau, with this bullshit they pushing out, let me go back to Revelation chapter 6. With this bullshit they pushing out, talking about this destruction that's going to come. Yeah, this destruction is going to come right here. Let me read this. In the book of Revelation chapter 6, verse 12, it says, and I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the reason why it's going to become that color, because once these nations actually press them buttons and shoot them arrows out, also known as nukes, the earth going to shake. Once they drop, that's going to make the earth shake a lot, especially when they hit areas where there's fault lines and stuff like that. That smoke go up. It's gonna make the sun black. You ain't gonna be able to see nothing. Like when these fires break out and you can't really see the sky or whatever, or if you do see it, it'll be red looking. Just like now, you look at the moon sometimes, it look like blood. And it says, and the moon became his blood. In verse 13 it says, and the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it's rolled together. Now, let me get a visual of this. Because once these go off, this is why it look like a scroll. This is a popular image I see a lot. You would get a scroll, and you roll it or unroll it. That's how it look. So that's what that's talking about. Now, when I was young, I used to read Revelation. It's crazy because I used to read Revelation all the time. I didn't know what the fuck this was talking about. I'm like a scroll. I'm thinking the sky just gonna open up and the Most High gonna come poke out his head or some junk. Nah, but that wasn't what it was talking about. It was, nah, this is symbolic. But the actual elect being sealed, that's not symbolic. That's very precise on who the Most High actually gonna gather up when this judgment come. When this come, oh yeah, it's gonna be precise on who gonna make it out of here. There ain't gonna be no Christians like this guy saying right here. He capping.
So thirdly, we find a very fascinating parallel in chapter 7 and chapter 5 between hearing and seeing. So in chapter 5, he hears, John, the writer, hears about the Lion of the tribe of Judah.
And who is that?
But when he...
And you had him bug out saying that he was born with immaculate conception. But hold on. But if you come from a tribe and from a lineage, that means you had to be born through the proper manner of having birth, or birth being given. So that means somebody was having sex. But anyway, I ain't even gonna get on that though.
Looks and sees, he sees a lamb. So that's very interesting. Jesus is the lion, the son of David, who conquers, but he conquers, John is telling us, by his death. So
no, but see, you go Esau twisting up shit. What he gonna conquer is this world when he come back. Because all this shit is gonna take place when these nukes drop. Let me read on some more in the book of Revelation. Go down to verse, where was that? Verse 14 again. It says, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it's rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places, and the kings of the earth, and the great man, and the rich man, and the chief captains, and the mighty man, and every bondman and free man hid themselves in the dens of the rocks and the mountains. That's why you have a lot of people investing in bunkers and shit right now, because they know this about to come. They know exactly what's about to happen. But some of them they're gonna let people know. Majority of them not. Now in verse 16 it says, and said to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us, hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. So, what wrath the Lamb? Oh, from what I heard, the Lamb supposed to be nice and peaceful. But nah, when Yahushua actually come back, he ain't gonna be just giving out hugs and flowers and shit. He gonna be putting in work too. Like the scripture say, oh, who is that comes from Basra with dyed garments? So, and I might be paraphrasing that a little wrong. Let me get that real quick. Let me see. Dyed garments from Basra. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 63 and verse 1. It says, oh, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength, either speaking righteousness, mighty to save. So simultaneously, while he's saving the elect, the sealed, he gonna be putting in work too. The Edomites, they gonna be like, that's why I say, let the rocks fall on us from the wrath of the Lamb. Because they ain't, man, look, they rather die by a rock hitting them than Yahushua actually hitting them. Let me see, what else I want to get from this. And just to back that up, because they do say in this last line right, it says traveling in greatness, in the greatness of his strength, and that type of traveling is coming from space basically, because Esau got this space Force so they can fight. When you read the book of Second Ezra, which I ain't gonna get right now, but I can, if you read it, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, get Second Ezra and read Second Ezra, and it'll talk about the one that stood up on the basically a ship, but it looked like a mountain, and that Ezra couldn't perceive its end. That's how big it was. That's why I said it also that every eye shall see him, and those which pierced him, which means the people that actually killed him back then, over 2,000 years ago, they've been born in this time frame, so to speak, and they living right now, so they're gonna be able to see him when they come out. Now, let me see something else. It's in the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 27. I'm gonna start at 26, but yeah. It says, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So when people see a lot of this stuff popping off, certain planets being visible, certain asteroids passing by and shit, because you got asteroids and stuff that's been passing by, which Esau ain't really been trying to let people know too much about it so they don't get shook up. Certain other signs in the heavens, more chariots appearing, apparitions, all type of stuff. When they see the missiles coming, see the angels, see Yahweh Shah, a lot of people gonna faint. They gonna bug out, people gonna have a stroke. Especially when they see something they don't believe actually even exists to, that's gonna bug a lot of people up. And simultaneously, when they see that those men, those beings are dark skinned, that's really gonna fuck people up. And this to back up the other scripture I was reading. It's in verse 27, it says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. So, that power, the reason why he's going to come with power and great glory, because Esau is going to try to fight, try to take him out like Esau always try to do. When they see this intimidating, dark-skinned man, they want to gun him down and try to capture him. And I said I wasn't going to pull that in Second Ezra. Let me get this real quick. Second Ezra. Hold on 1 minute, let me pull this up. See, I have to go all the way. into detail with this because I know the exact scripture, but I want to pull the actual verse up by number. So let me pull this real quick. This is what I'm looking for. 2 Ezra chapter 13, verse 6.